not mid, Austin.
Hi! I think that got caught on stream, Sam!
Everybody, Austin,
start over.
We've got a record going!
He's not mid!
Hi, everybody. Welcome in for our return and our 6th session of the Gentleman's Club. It did. Yep, it made it on. Yep.
Let's go.
Awesome. Rad.
Austin's
Y'all are going to
not
have
mid.
to practice saying something right before the end now. But welcome
Austin's not mid in chat.
Yeah, everybody hashtag Austin's not mid. Hashtag.
This is honestly not going to make me feel better at all.
He says sinking lower and lower in his... Hi, Poopy. Welcome in, everybody. We are very excited for everybody to be here with us as we come back. We're very, very excited to be back. We're going to do a very, very quick housekeeping real fast. Anybody have anything they want to say, plug like their streams, anything like that?
Yes, I have an ad, not for myself. So, as you might have seen if you've been around the Discord, Rose has a new partnership, an ambassadorship for Advanced GG. And chat, ignore all these people around me. Pretend they're not there. This is just me and you. This is me and you. All right, we're going to have a talk. Have a me and you. Okay. When was the last time you slept well? Be honest. Don't lie to me. When was the last time you slept? Did you get 8 hours of sleep last night? The answer is probably no. Because we live in a hellscape. Things are not going well. You don't have to tell any of us. We know. We've seen the news. It's awful. But I have a solution for you. So, Advanced GG doesn't just have caffeine and focus supplements. They also have sleep help stuff. And that's huge. My personal recommendation is Lore Daddy's Lullaby by a really cool content creator named My Name is Bife. If you're into Destiny, he makes really good Destiny lore videos. And he has a nice little supplement thing to help you get some sleep. It doesn't have melatonin, so I know some people get worried about melatonin because it can mess with stuff. You take too much melatonin. This has no melatonin. It's all good stuff. Try it out. Get some good sleep. You deserve it. Because sleeping is good for you, despite what some people may think. Sleep is good. So, get some sleep. Use code ROSE10. Get a discount. Get some good sleep. And if you want to stay up in a hellish caffeine nightmare, they also have caffeine too. So you can do either. Probably not both at the same time. I don't think that would work out well for you. Don't do that.
They'll cancel out.
They won't. Your life will cancel out. So, try the code ROSE10. Get a discount. Good.
Did you guys know, since he's not going to plug himself, and I will, that Orfeo Mills, Jacob up here, is also a streamer, and he's pretty cool, if I do say so myself.
It's all right.
He's really sweet, great guy, plays awesome games, is really, if you're like into Final Fantasy 14 especially, this guy knows so freaking much. And is convincing me that I need to get back into playing Final Fantasy 14. So please go check him out. Read our sweet little Rose Gardener Frosty Tools response about him for the shout out. Go check him out, follow him, and swing by. Tell him the gentleman sent you, you know?
So true.
If there's no other housekeeping news, then what we're going to do is see about going ahead and getting started. The gentlemen have come up with a recap video for you guys. If you didn't watch it today on YouTube, that is A-okay. So we're going to send you over to the recap video, and then we will be right back immediately after that with you guys. See you in a minute.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Lola's Tavern. I am your grung bard, Jameson Cray, and we, the gentlemen, are here to regale you with the tales of our adventures thus far. As I said, I am Jameson Cray, grung bard, and these are the gentlemen. Introduce yourselves, gentlemen.
Yes, hello. The name is Alder Fenhorn. I'm a Furbolg artificer, a master of all things mechanical and arcane, and the wonderful combinations of the two.
I am Ozymandias. Some just call me Ozzy. I am the Warforged fighter. I am pretty much just good at breaking things. mostly people, and I'm more or less just here to do my job.
And my name is Theodore Maximus IV. You can just call me Max. I am a human wizard with magnificent stash and monocle, proper and in place. I run my family's tavern, Lola's Tavern, along with my daughter Lola and select few employees. I am both a scholar and a brewer. I implore you to come by and try my own homebrewed ale, the Chilling Frostbite.
And with the introductions out of the way, Max, take us away at the start of our story.
So we start at my aforementioned family's tavern. Lola's. Brief history on that is it is my family's tavern, passed down through my great-grandfather, Theodore Maximus Sr., then to Junior, then to my own father, Theo, and now to me. I hope to pass it down to my daughter, Lola, but we'll see where the future takes us. A few other staff of note is Flora, a half-orc woman, Callie Marie, the human man, Orvar, dwarven man, Morty, along with our own warforged Ozzy. One fateful day, Alder and Jameson arrived together, seemingly fresh off the seas. They were sailing companions. A few items of note on our menu are my own Frostbite, as well as my father's Firebolt. That one is in short supply, as my father is no longer with us, but I aim to make the Frostbite every bit as good as his Firebolt.
And in the process of our newcomers enjoying themselves in the bar, I noticed that there was a strange man in the corner. Seemed to be having a bit of trouble. Collapsed, began coughing up black blood, seemingly sick. He ended up spreading whatever it was. He began coughing on people, flailing around, eventually died. It seemed to be, it left some kind of mysterious symbol carved on the underside of a table or two in the bar. It's just odd enough that even our newcomers seemed to be interested in finding out what was going on. Alder ended up removing the symbols from the table to take with, just to see if we could figure anything out. And in the process, we took the deceased man to the doctor in town, Dr. Hinge.
Yes, Dr. Hinge is a wonderful man. He even delivered my daughter. He is Adelsad's only doctor, so with nowhere else to turn, we of course had to take it to Dr. Hinge. He doesn't like being visited at his office, but when we got there, he already seemed to have visitors.
Yes, once arrived, we discovered that quite a few other unfortunate souls had met the blunt end of this plague that had suddenly descended the humble town of Idlesod. We did our best to, in a brief discussion and experimentation with Dr. Hinge on our mysteriously, freshly disposed of individual. However, upon our research at this moment, the once deceased creatures returned to life, or something perhaps akin to life. They rose without much wits about them and seemingly very aggressive. We did our best to make short work of them within the space that was the doctor's office, but unfortunately, our dear friend Dr. Hinge was struck during the altercation and seemingly infected with this disease. We, concerned citizens of the area, went to report such incident to the town's sheriff, but unfortunately discovered that the sheriff had already succumbed to this disease. So, after barricading the sheriff in to keep him from spreading any diseases with his shambling deceased corpse, we borrowed a wagon from the town and set off for the larger settlement of Kalendrya, not too far from the smaller town of Idlesod. They're hoping to discover more learned clerics or other doctors that perhaps have had experience with this disease, so that we may save Dr. Hinge, but also the town of Idlesod.
And with our newly band of adventurers freshly bound together, we left for Kalendrya. On the way, as we made camp for the night, we encountered a family, Sybil and her children, Conrad and Ava, on their way to Kalendrya as well to meet up with their father and husband, Diggory. They asked to stay with us, and we were very happy to oblige. But on the way there, in the middle of the night, we were ambushed by even more of these shambling creatures. After several encounters and a quick getaway with Ozzy driving the cart like a seasoned professional, we made it to Kirli. Unfortunately, as we got there, it seems that we were not the only ones headed for the big city, and the city was in lockdown with carts and people trying to get in any way they could. Luckily, after we submitted, shall we say, maybe a little too much information, a little too much evidence that we were unbitten and clean, we were able to get inside the city, and that's all I'll say about that.
What he means is he stripped down naked in front of the guards.
Hey, they didn't... They asked to see evidence, and I was all too happy to oblige.
Maybe a little too happy.
Anyway, we made our way to the Cup, which is home of the Brewers Guild in Kalendrya. Owned by a good friend of mine, Jonathan Tubbyweather. He was able to give us room and board for the time being. We did take time in the city to resupply at general goods, and find a cleric, hopefully, or some sort of healer for Dr. Hinge.
However, unfortunately, it would seem to be a little too late. Just keeping watch in the hallways, simply because I do not sleep, I noticed strange noises coming from Dr. Hinge's room. Come to find that Dr. Hinge had turned already. Strange, though. It wasn't like he was a shambling corpse like the previous ones. He had kind of hardened, turned to some kind of almost like stone or calcified material. But he died like the rest, so... In the process, we realized there were some kind of strange shadow creatures. So we decided we would fight those too. Ended up thrashing the bar a bit, but work is work. In finding more of those symbols around, after chasing off these shadow creatures, defeating them, whatever we did to them, found symbols, more evidence of something connected to what we had seen in Idlesod. And also a strange, mysterious figure. Suspicious enough, might as well chase that one too. And chase we did, except this one did something to some local dogs in an alleyway, and they suddenly turned into two-headed zombie-like monstrosities, kind of like the people did. So we fought those two, and they died too, but we made a little too much noise, a little too much attention, too much for my liking. We decided, we don't feel like getting arrested today. I'm not exactly keen on meeting the guards today, so we hightailed it out. But the rest of the group had a bit of a change of heart. We decided we would go talk to the guards, explain what had happened. Possibly, if this was spreading in the city, then the city was not safe. To do something about it.
So, in an effort to get ahead of the narrative and clear any wrongdoings that may have been perceived on our behalf, we approached the town guard not long before we were introduced to one Captain Alisard Dumont. We explained to her the situation of our altercation in the evening, and she took us deeper within the city to the city council, to a place where we could give a more accurate testimony to the deeds that harrowed us the night before. There we met a host of interesting folk, some more offensive than others, and learned that the city was currently planning on sending out a group of mercenaries to deal with growing numbers of these zombified hordes outside of the city in a vain attempt to placate this disease and protect those that they weren't able to let within the city. In our earnest to prove our worth and show our mettle to the good people of Kirlia, we volunteered to go out instead of any of these other more expensive mercenary groups to dispatch as many of these foul creatures as we could. So, after receiving blessing from Captain Ellis Ard, we did a light bit of resupply and took off once again outside of the city into the great wilderness in hunt of these terrifying monsters.
So, after a bit of searching, we did indeed find several hordes of these zombie creatures, and we dispatched them quite handily. It was a glorious fight. We all looked really cool. After that, we returned to the city and waited to meet with Captain Dumont again. With some time on our hands, we decided to split the party and peruse the town in search of more information about what the hell is going on. And after gaining some various information and getting some wanted ads for various jobs to further fund our adventures, we reconvened. And that leads us to where we are now. So now you're all caught up. I am excited to tell you that our adventures will resume very soon. We'll see you there. Tell them the gentleman sent you.
It's a beautiful land, Kalendrya. For generations, the people of Kalendrya have told ancient stories of legendary heroes. But the age of heroes has long passed, and now villains have risen to reign of the land. Whispers say that we're doomed, that the era of heroes has ended, but I still hold out hope that there are heroes out there, and we need them now more than ever before. Gentlemen of Kalendrya.
All right, gentlemen. When last we left, you had just finished splitting the party, collecting some information about town, a few leads, things of that nature. As we find you here now, you have returned back to the Brewers Guild, the Cup, otherwise known. And as you all step back into the tavern area, you see a few different patrons, no new faces necessarily from the few days that you've been here already. And as each of you return and begin to congregate around a bit of food and drink set aside for you, how would you like to proceed?
Suppose it's time to share our experiences from the day.
So, first, I think drinks are in order. We're at a Brewers Guild, of course. Who do we all arrive roughly the same time, or did a pair of us get here sooner?
Those of you who had not gotten nearly as far arrive a bit sooner. Unless I am mistaken, I believe, if I remember correctly, that is you, Jameson, and Alder.
I was with Ozzy.
You were with Ozzy. Then yes. I am mistaken. So the group that got back first was the ones that went to the Temple District. That was Jameson and Max then.
Yeah.
I guess we'll wait at the bar. I'll and remind me of the Rock Gnome gentleman's name.
Jonathan.
Jonathan, yep. Tubby Weather.
Tubby Weather.
Jonathan, what do you recommend?
I recommend the same drinks I usually do, unless you're wanting some of Max's stuff. And he kind of looks pointedly over towards you, Max. I've got some Firebolt left. I've got a few different kegs, some of which are a bit more questionable than others left by some of the other patrons, if you will. Nothing too fancy.
Max is currently slightly dissociating.
Is Frostbite out for public consumption, or is it like Max is still working on it, so it's not like out for everyone yet?
Yeah, it's out. It's just my goal is, just trying to improve it, make it better.
I'll have a cup of Frostbite, please.
All right, and for you, Max?
Some vodka. You can leave the bottle.
All right, gentlemen, I'll be right back. And you see
I look at
Jonathan kind of toddle over to behind the nearest bar as he starts kind of rummaging through to find the drinks that you requested.
I'll kind of just like I'm standing at like a bar stool or whatever they have, and I just kind of like spin it over with my hands like this. Max, are you okay?
Yeah. Fine.
I'm all for some midday drinking. Something you want to talk about? Or
No, I do not.
something you don't want to talk about? Something you want to drink about?
Many things to drink about. Plenty of happy. Plenty of sad. I'd rather drink and share the information once we have everyone here.
Well, I have you know I'm a very good drinking companion. If you don't want to talk about it, we can definitely drink about it.
I'll drink to that.
Clink.
All right, as Jonathan finishes dropping off your drinks, kind of gives you a raised eyebrow, Jameson, as he overhears the tail end of your conversation. The other two coming back as well, or?
At some point, presumably. Unless they died.
I hesitate to ask why you think that they... never mind. I'll mind my business
Jonathan, you
here.
seem like a worldly sort.
Nope, I'm not. And you see him start
beyond...
walking. About this time, you do hear again the slight ting of the bell on the door go off, and as you glance over, you do see Ozzy and Alder. Ozzy, for sure, kind of ducking a little as he steps through the doorway here into the space.
And that's another reason why I think it's a good idea that we keep different sorts of adhesives or lubricants available for the ambulation of such mechanical pieces and apparatus. Especially as the more we go about our day-to-day lives and things are going. I mean, obviously you are aware of all of these things, but I'm curious what different types of... Oh, hello, everyone.
Speaking of lubricant, Max bought vodka.
Congratulations, I think.
It's a social lubricant.
I'll turn to Ozzy quickly. He's like, is that normal?
What, Max drinking? Yes. Drinking vodka? No. Maybe.
So what does that mean?
Beats me.
You see Max pouring some vodka into a rocks glass and then casting the cantrip Frostbite to cool it down. And just drinking it straight.
That's some movie shit.
Roll me a Constitution saving throw, Max, just to see how well, any brain freeze.
It's poison.
Oh, God. Okay.
Tubby Weather doesn't like us anymore.
What did it? The destroying his bar momentarily, or the...
We fixed it.
We did fix it.
I got a 16.
Okay.
More accurately, Alder fixed it.
I rolled very good to fix his bar.
It almost burns slightly on the way down just from how cold it is. But you're able to kind of just stiff it out for a minute and push through as the drink finally kind of hits your stomach.
Well, I'm sure all of you have many fantastic and fantabulous tales of rumors and scuttlebutt that has been heard. We've got an interesting story about a man named Hubert, and that's kind of it. But anyway, should we adjourn to a table?
Yes.
Gesture to an empty table.
As you look over, the only currently like fully empty table that would give you any sort of like privacy, unless you wish to share a table with some other folk, is one of the tables that had previously been quite heavily damaged and is repaired.
It's immaculate now. And it's even got a little plaque carved in the bottom of it that has all of our names on it. And no, it doesn't.
It is immaculately repaired.
As you all
Possibly
make
not
your
for
way
long.
over, you're able to kind of weave your way in between the growing crowd as more folks seem to be coming in for drinks and a little bit of revelry where they can find it. And you kind of make your way over. Let's see. Jameson, roll me a dexterity saving throw as you go to get into the table.
Is it a booth or a table?
It is a table, but it's kind of pressed against the wall. You're going to have to kind of navigate in and around.
22.
All right. You almost kind of slip and fall on what seems to be somebody's spilled drink off to the side. You manage to kind of catch yourself, managing not to spill any of your drink as well, and make your way into your chair.
Excellent. So, what interesting information did you discover?
Well, as I spoke to before, we went to a few of the different locations about town, wetting our whistles, as it would be, and we found a couple posters of deeds of doing and whatnot. Someone needs an exterminator, and there's someone named Hubert missing from the College of Kirlia. Other than that, we didn't really find much. I was kind of playing it up earlier, but it was kind of uneventful.
I'm going to be honest, I started talking to people and I got distracted, so I don't remember anything we'd found out. But Max does, because he's sad now.
The party fell from hell.
Hearing my name, I'll kind of snap back into reality. Yeah, just a few things here and there. Again, Aaron, I have bullet points here, so you might want to help me flesh these out. But the city had sent some mercenaries out, probably local heroes, to help deal with the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There was rumor of local butchers selling tainted chicken meat.
Mm-hmm. So there is a rumor going around right now that there might be butchers either selling on accident or intentionally some tainted meat. People are traditionally saying that they're getting really sick after eating chicken from certain vendors, and a lot of those vendors are pointing their fingers at the butchers that the meat is coming from.
And then I did hear rumors of a fortune teller that had come through that told someone that 3 dragons will be attacking Kirlia. It's a fortune teller, so believe what
Are they
you
bad
will.
dragons?
Did they say when they would be coming?
DM, did they say when?
Nope.
Okay.
Sponsorship.
Not that I remember.
Well, that's awful.
You think I would have remembered that? Someone must have told you that, not me.
Fortune tellers are all phonies and crooks anyway. There's no reason to believe. Who knows that dragons are going to attack a city?
I mean, still, it's kind of worrying at the very least.
That bit about the butcher is a little bit more concerning to me.
Unfortunately, I feel like at our current combat prowess, even if 3 dragons attacked, there probably would not be much we could do about it. But that butcher thing could be correlated, right?
We could flee. We could
True,
run
we could run away.
Mhm.
That would be a good idea.
Like
But that
not
the
stupid.
chicken, there was something about. I don't think it was meat, but I'm sure maybe spoiled meat that could be attributed to people
Well,
getting sick. Maybe.
Well, in conjunction, combined with the findings we've gained thus far about how these creatures infect others, mostly by salivary contact or the detonation of that results upon their death, it would be reasonable to assume that such an infection or disease could be spread by the consumption of one's infected corpse, which would imply that could also be resulted from tainted livestock supply. So
Or-
perhaps the... Oh,
Or maybe it's not chicken at all. Maybe they're selling people. I went to a show about that once. It was a fisherman that was feeding people instead of fish. It was something like, "This is the tale of Teeny Rod," something like that.
I have a very strong feeling that people would not taste like fish.
I mean, if they're in the ocean long enough, maybe.
Would by that
It was a
implication,
show, I'm sorry,
if we
it was
put
a
a
show.
chicken in the ocean for a long time, would it then eventually begin to taste like fish?
Chicken of the sea.
Well, that's tuna.
You're right.
And it is highly unlikely to suggest that tuna are actually chicken that were left too long in the ocean.
That's a science experiment for you.
It is not.
I digress. But that butcher thing seems like something we could investigate. That seems like a real problem.
Especially given that it has been shown that there is at least someone in this city who is interfering in that way with the cloaked figure that we encountered previously.
This is
It
true.
would be far-fetched to assume that they had something to do with it.
And I think any good entertainer knows that if the people are on your side, everything else becomes a lot easier. So if we could help if the people around, maybe people.
Sorry. Cat stepped on my keyboard, moved us. Keep going.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna unplug my keyboard.
And we're back.
Yeah, we're back. We're good.
Sorry, something switched my brain to another screen temporarily. What was you saying? Oh, yes, if we help the people, they'll be more willing to give us information and possibly help us get to the bottom of whatever these strange going-ons are.
Well, and also we should help people not be infected with a horrible disease that
That's
kills
because
them.
it's the right thing to do. Yes.
Yeah, yes.
That didn't need to be. That didn't. I wasn't gonna say that, but like, it's yes. Not
No,
everybody
when-
does things through altruism.
When creating the list of pros and cons, it is appropriate to list all of
Yes.
applicable factors, such
Yes.
as the con that we could all die.
Hey, well, we're all going to die one day or another. Said
True.
baby Ozzy. Do you die?
I
guess you wouldn't know.
I imagine if someone hit me hard enough, I would die. Am I alive?
But
I
would
guess
you
I'll-
die from the
You're alive.
removal of appendages? If I removed your head, would you continue to exist as Ozymandias?
I don't know if I want to find that
Would the
out.
consciousness remain in the helm, or would your consciousness revert to the rest of your body?
Everyone roll me
What
a
is it?
perception check.
What does it mean to be alive?
That feels appropriate. It's a natural one. I am much too distracted by the thought experiment of dismantling Ozzy.
Can I use my
God.
passive perception?
I'll say as you're not actively participating in the conversation, you may.
Rowan, aid me.
Let me-
23.
20.
14.
Rowan actually did roll really well.
Fuck yeah.
You got a 21.
Okay, Alder, as you continue talking, you start feeling this tugging sensation on kind of like the end of your shirt. As everybody else, you easily, prior to being alerted by a little buddy, notice that there has been a small bit of whooping and hollering from over towards the door of the cup, as it seems somebody has entered, and there seems to be a bit of commotion going about. Those of you who succeeded, so Alder, you can have a moment to try to figure it out after this, but Jameson, Ozzy, and Max, if you all want to roll insight, you can see if you can immediately discern kind of what's happening.
Insight. Oh boy.
I'm proficient in that.
Come on and slam.
I am
And
proficient.
welcome to
Hey.
the trip.
That is going to be a 22.
A dirty 20.
Okay.
It'd be an 18.
Okay. All of you immediately begin to perceive what sounds like in some of these whoops and hollers are a few almost kind of like whistles, like the woo woo. As you hear a little bit of commotion, you see eventually a small bit of this crowd kind of part, as it seems that the individual who's almost being catcalled and hollered to seems to kind of be a little bit more visible to you through the crowd. For all of you who are standing there, you see before you this very, very beautiful woman with long, dark hair that's very kind of intricately braided together, flowing down one side of her body. As you look, the clothing she wears does seem to be from a bit of a warmer climate, a bit more revealing, but it is very kind of loose and flowy, aside from the few portions where it seems to hang from her body. As she kind of turns and looks, you see her kind of like give almost like a little bit of a dramatic sort of like bow to some of these gentlemen before walking up and, so, fortunes anyone? Anybody seeming interested? Max,
Is that the lady?
You almost have this sense of like recognizing this woman.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
It's your daughter.
Is it my daughter?
Roll a perception check.
Is she walking up? I see.
Is she living a double life?
Oh,
The public transportation system of Curlia must be incredible if she's able to
it
get
is
back
not
and forth.
Lola.
It's season 8 of Game of Thrones level of public transportation.
Who it be?
Seems a certain somebody from your past may be present here as this fortune teller.
Hang on, I gotta pull up my backstory.
Oh shit!
It
I couldn't
doesn't
remember what I
completely
wrote.
match what she seemed like the last time you saw her, but there's certainly some resemblances that leave you a bit on edge. The rest of you, as you see her kind of
It's a Lola's mom.
That she
bowing,
did.
almost kind of playing the people a little bit, you see a few different people kind of come towards her and start, handing over some coin as she begins to kind of do what seems to be some card readings, some fortune telling, and there seems to be a bit of a crowd kind of gathering around her. Not terribly far away in this tap room, but about a good 15-20 feet away.
Did any of us pick up with like the higher insights? We pick up that Max recognizes her.
Max, are you in a state of mind where you are trying to not react to this, or?
I am looking for my backstory.
He said, no, hang on. Wait.
She didn't do his homework.
Wait.
Here we go. That should be it. Anyway, I would say, yeah, I'm in a state of mind to be like, is that who I think it is?
Okay.
So I guess I wouldn't really be trying to hide it. I'd be more. I'm making it pretty obvious.
Okay.
Like cartoon eyeballs pop out of your head and come back.
Awooga.
Yeah. Just steam come out of your ears.
No.
Damn.
I will clock that Max recognizes her, but I'm not going to do anything yet.
Okay. Is there anything else?
Because
you need her
doubtless
to
it would
do?
be easy enough to remove your head with only a few tweaks of. What are we staring at? Who's what? Who's that?
He's still looking.
Is that the woman who talked about the dragons? Does she know more about the dragons? Is it possible she would be able to tell us when dragons are supposed to, or perhaps what variety dragons may be upon their approach?
This isn't the person I saw earlier. That was that I heard the rumor, right?
It is not.
Okay. So I'll just kind of shrug and say I don't really know, but if she's telling fortunes, might be a good idea to talk to her.
Well, I don't know if I should do it.
Oh, I'll do it. What are we asking?
For a fortune.
Oh, okay. I'll hop down and.
I like how your noise gate caught that.
Yeah, noise gate cut like one.
Noise gate saved us all. God. All right. As you kind of head over, it is a little difficult to get in. You do see there's almost like in this crowd, they're pushed in kind of heavily, leaning, looking over. As you see her sitting back, your final card, and she kind of pulls and lays it flat. Judgment. You seem a bit preoccupied. Is that all right? And you see the gentleman who's sitting there, who you've seen kind of here and there in the past few days here at the Cup. Seems to have been either like a new apprentice brewer or something to that effect. He's always kind of been trying to watch and learn from others, from what you all have seen and gathered. Kind of seems to squirm uncomfortably for a minute in his seat and just, no, it's no big deal. I'll let somebody else, you, frog guy. And he kind of like pats you on the back. If you want up, it's about time. The mistress is gonna want me home. And he just kind of, without hesitating, gets up, slides past you, and starts kind of making his way back through the crowd a bit as she kind of shakes her head, chuckles, and starts to collect all the cards off of the table. She looks at you. If you're interested in a reading, I'd be happy to...
Hello.
Hello.
Sure. Did you by chance give someone a fortune about attacking dragons earlier?
It would be...
Some real bad dragons.
It'd be difficult to say for sure. I mean, I've given many a fortune in the past few days.
Oh, well, I'll take one.
All right. That will be 2 silver. All right. You place the 2 silver down and see. She kind of leans forward. Fingers kind of come under and just rest right under your chin for a moment as she kind of lifts your face up, looks at you, almost seems to guide your head left and right to look at the sides of your face and just...
Is this part of the fortune?
Suppose you could call it as such. She sits down and she... If you'll place your hands, and she kind of holds her hands out towards you.
Are they moist?
I mean, yeah. nature of the
his
beast.
existence.
All right, it's the whole shebang right there, baby. As you place your hands in hers, roll me an Arcana check.
I'm really good at those because I'm real smart. An 8.
An 8. All right, is anybody actively watching Jameson at this moment, or are all of you preoccupied?
I think I'm more watching the fortune teller.
Okay. Everybody roll me who would like to. Either Arcana or Perception at disadvantage trying to see through this crowd.
That's not counting me, right?
Correct.
Gotcha.
I will roll perception. That's a 15.
4.
12.
Nice.
None of you catch anything about her as she begins to sit there, and you see her kind of just close her eyes and lean back a little bit in her chair. There's a moment of almost silence from her, where she almost becomes innately still. You see her lips move ever so slightly, and then her shoulders relax back as she finally opens her eyes back up. Jameson, I need a charisma saving throw.
Banish.
That'd be pretty funny, though.
So funny. All of that just
How would that be? That wouldn't be funny. That'd be upsetting.
That'd be pretty funny.
funny for us.
Dirty 20.
All right, with a dirty 20, you will succeed on this DC. As you sit there, she kind of leans back. Your life hasn't been terribly boring, has it?
I strive to make it not that way.
I can tell. You seem to have a bit of a knack for the spotlight, yes?
Please. Duke, go on.
If only the spotlight weren't so hot in your future, you might be at risk of being burned, maybe by a spurned lover, or perhaps someone you once considered an ally. Might be best for you to play your cards a bit closer to your chest.
That sounds like no fun. If that happens, it happens. We can't choose what happens to us. We can only simply react appropriately.
Very healthy thought when it comes to understanding and reading fortunes.
Be real with me right now. Does do you is this like a grift? I believe that you have is this like do you get something else on the side besides just like paying for the fortunes? Like do you have a partner? Like, is this like a thing where you steal from people too? Like, cause I've done that in the past. It's not an insulting.
Yank her
It's not an
hands
insulting
back.
thing.
I do believe it is a bit of an insult to be accusing a lady of doing some sort of crime of petty thievery.
It's not a crime. You got to do what you got to do.
It's a little
Feeling is wrong.
Neutral, as he says.
Well, I'll wish you well. Your fortune does seem to say that you'll need it, but unfortunately, I think our transaction is done. If you'll see yourself away from my table with your accusations.
Okay.
You hear one or two guys go ooh in the background as you walk away.
So, how did it go?
I think she's running a grift.
Told you.
I checked my money real quick.
All right, you pat yourself down. You are only missing 2 silver.
She stole 2 silver from you.
I don't know. Seems like there's something probably more going on there. Max, do you know that woman?
Has my memory been jogged, DM?
It has. Do you need me to jog your memory, player?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, I will send you a DM here for you.
She's gonna send him a whole dungeon master. You're talking about being able to 3D print.
Oh, right, I have
guns
to actually plug my
3D
keyboard back
print
in, Smile.
IBM.
3D print. Yeah.
Printer? I
Who'd have thought
barely
this would be
know.
so complicated.
I know her pretty well, actually. That's why we got married.
Boy,
But
terrible. All right.
I forgot. We're in a Discord call.
Yeah.
We can use them.
Well, don't though.
no.
We shouldn't.
Don't though.
We should not.
Don't though. Bradley.
Oh, the temptation is so
Bradley.
high now.
I don't have Discord Nitro, so I only have the basic ones this boring.
Oh boy.
I could always hit us with a
The missile.
a yippee, or the missile does not know what the fuck it is called. Where the fuck it is?
Mr.
Hit us
Electric,
with it.
send him to the principal's office.
Okay.
I could always also hit us with a shax.
Okay.
So now that I do recognize her, all the color will be leaving my face. And I will do my best to avoid any and all eye contact, almost scoot away from her.
Max, do you know her?
I am going to go to bed. I will grab the bottle of vodka, the little bit of it that's left, and I will begin to head to our room.
Previous social interactions would imply that he does indeed know who that woman is, but it is uncomfortable to speak about it, yes?
He just saw his ex at the local bar. This must be traumatic for him. Well, it's probably best to leave him alone.
Mr. Mandias, have you've worked with him for quite some time. Have you ever seen this individual,
Or kept a
heard about
log
him?
of his romantic encounters, as one does for their employer.
I definitely don't think
Ozzy,
that's
roll me a
okay.
history or some other kind of check of your choosing. Pitch it to me if
Jameson.
it's not intelligence.
Is that something you do?
Oh no.
Do you have a journal of romantic escapades done by other individuals?
Oh no, that'd be weird.
Insight check.
As he sticks a notebook back into his bag.
Sure, Jameson, roll the appropriate roll of your choosing. Don't tell us what it is. Alder, make an insight check,
I
apparently.
got a 13.
That's a 14. You'll never know.
Ozzy, what is that roll?
So history seemed the only thing appropriate, and I got a 19 for a 19.
Looking at her,
He does keep track.
There's a few things about her that you could say might be familiar, but it would be familiar in the way that, like, you see stereotypical white girl with long blonde hair, and you go, that could be Erin. And then it could be vastly not. So there's nothing that really, like, seems to stand out about this person in particular that makes you go, yeah, I've definitely seen this person before.
I mean, she doesn't look especially familiar. I mean, a little, but nothing that comes to mind. No one that I've ever seen come through before working for Max. I mean, I could just go ask her.
I'm gonna awkwardly stand up and do a big fake stretch so I can see over the crowd, since I am 7 feet tall. Looking at this woman again, is there any kind of familial resemblance between her and Max?
Ooh.
Or her. Oh no, never mind.
They're not necessarily. Well, roll me a perception check.
Rowan, help me.
Secret daughter.
Secret
Uh-oh.
daughter. Secret daughter.
No.
In
No,
the
no.
capital.
That's a 16.
With a 16, there's nothing that makes you inherently look at her and go, this is definitely someone related to Max. But there are a few things that you say, looking feature-wise, could almost resemble Lola in some ways, though you haven't heard tale of a wife or a partner of any sorts from Max talking about Lola's mother.
How old does this woman appear to be?
Um,
Well, also begs the question, if I'm asking that, is she a human?
she is.
Okay.
And she looks to probably be early mid-30s.
And Max is not in his early to mid 30s.
No.
Max is probably in what, his mid-40s?
Yeah, 45. Yes.
Okay. Well, at this point, our sources of data. Well, yes, I was going about a long-winded way of saying that, but yes. Oh, fine. I will
Ask her if she's ever had a child.
That's a good
I'm
question,
just kidding. Don't do that. Go backwards. Ask her if she's ever had sex before. Then we can know to add the second question.
Are you a virgin?
I heard people really like you to ask them that question in public places.
You just hear
And
a
in
very
general.
deep sigh
Created
from the
beast
barmaid
with two paps.
who's come to collect some of the cups and things from around your table. As she just sighs
You had
deeply,
sex
grabs
with
them,
this
and
man.
goes around.
Ozzy's like rubbing what would be a temple. Just oh my god.
You get a nice like grating sound.
What god would you worship in your temple?
Terrible.
Myself, clearly.
Oh. We could add a little shrine to Ozzy in your temple. That way you can rub your temple.
Anyway, more like money.
I will make my way over. Is she still like got a big crowd around her?
There is, though you see that she seems a bit annoyed right now, especially as she sees you seem to be approaching.
I don't know if I would pick up on that, to be honest with you.
That's fair. Listen, if you feel like you would not, then disregard.
So she's like not got people that she's currently working with?
She has one person who she's kind of sitting with, who's kind of going through trying to like count some coins out.
Okay, I will awkwardly stand like right behind the chair that he's in, and I put my hands in front of me crossed, so just kind of like trying to look as nonchalant and not uncomfortable in waiting, even though I definitely am.
And she makes it so much better by... You, Firbolg. Are you coming
Yes.
over after speaking with your friend to assist him in insinuating that I'm sitting here committing some sort of criminal act?
I wave.
But never. No. Besides, he didn't say you were committing crimes. He said you were grifting.
There's a difference. I'm cool with crime, by the way.
I am actually here
I wouldn't say
to
that.
determine that you are not indeed grifting. I also would like to ask the question about the dragons, because I don't think Jameson ever actually said if you said anything about that. And also, I had a friend sitting over there, not the moist one, a different friend sitting over there, who may or may not have recognized you, but got uncomfortable when we pointed out that fact and went upstairs. I'm Alder, by the way.
She sighs deeply. Alder, very nice to meet you. Go ahead and fetch a drink, and I'll be happy to tell you my name and answer your questions.
Okay, I'll turn back around and walk over
Make
to
it
them.
a firebolt if they have it. It's one of my favorites.
Okay. I'll go collect drinks and make my way back to the table.
All right. As you make your way back, you see the individual who'd been kind of carefully counting out coins, hands them over, and she seems to have been in the midst of doing some sort of reading now around a crystal ball for this gentleman. Do you wait patiently, or...
I want to look at the crystal ball that she's, like, now summoned and is using in this situation, and I want to, like, Sherlock Holmes look at this thing and try and examine if there is anything non-arcane about this, if there is some kind of mundane trick or piece of trickery being used.
Roll me Arcana.
Are you sure about that?
Are you sure about that?
I was fishing for an investigation. That's fine.
I'll allow an investigation, sure.
That makes a big difference. Are you ready?
Sure.
24.
24, okay. As you're sitting and looking, it does seem to have some sort of... I mean, the crystal ball itself doesn't seem magical in any way, shape, or form. But you do see and feel this almost thrum of energy as you see her moving her hands about this crystal ball. And you catch a moment, very, very difficult to perceive, of her casting a spell subtly. Almost as if she might be using subtle spell.
Cool, then I will just stand there and wait my turn. I sip my drink.
Alright. A few moments pass, and finally you watch as she kind of leans back in her chair, having read, seemingly to this man, a whole tale about the misfortunes of his life and what is to come. But she does at least end it on a bit of a lighter note, saying that he seems to be potentially on a good winning streak in his card games this week. Before he kind of gets up, a little bit dejected, and proceeds out on his own through...
Hey, congratulations about the cards, though. That sounds great. Anyway, and I'll kind of muscle past him to get to the table.
Alright, as you sit down, she reaches forward, accepts the drink from you. Thank you for that. Takes a sip. Gentlemen, I'll be taking a moment, if you don't mind. A few questions, taking a bit of a break. I'll be with you all shortly. Please, make yourselves merry. Have a few more drinks. Enjoy yourselves. I'll let you know when I'm back. As you watch the crowd kind of begin to disperse a little bit, some not moving terribly far away. She motions towards you. Well, where would you like to start?
I have a small amendment. As I'm standing there waiting my turn, I'm going to take my coin purse, remove 2 silver pieces, but then hand the rest of it to Rowan and have him go back to the party and hold it over there. Because if she is stealing, I don't want her to steal my gold.
She will very clearly watch you do this.
Well, so this is while she's doing her other thing.
Okay. And Rowan will just toddle over, get over to not Max, because Max is gone, to Ozzy, who is the closest. And Ozzy, you see all of a sudden just a little tink, 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 and look down to see a little Rowan holding up this coin purse towards you, and kind of his little fingers around it, like, just over and over until you take it from him.
And then I'll just look at it and then set it on the table in front of me and look at it mildly longingly before turning my attention back to whatever Arthur's doing.
Yes, your beverage. Hello.
Hello. You had questions.
I did. I have a lot of questions.
I noticed. Ask your first.
We heard a tale of a fortune teller within the city, giving out a fortune that supposedly in the somewhat near future there may or may not be 3 dragons approaching the city with the intention of attacking the city. Was this you? And if it was, are there any more details that one could be given about a potential dragon attack on the city?
Roll me an insight check.
I am renownedly known for these wisdom-based skill checks. Keep them coming. It's actually not bad. That's a 15.
Okay. As you look, there's almost a flicker of recognition across her face that quickly seems to disappear, kind of back into her little bit of a facade that she's got going on. As she... Suppose it may have been me, but I'm not entirely sure that it was. You know, there are several other fortune tellers about the city.
Yes, and if I meet them, I do intend on asking them the same, if not a similar question.
Though I must admit, I don't recall ever saying 3 dragons. Personally, I prefer to work a bit more in accuracy. I believe it was 4 that I'd said. If you must know, curiosity and all.
Curiosity indeed. Are these malicious beings coming to the city within a reasonable time frame? A day, a night, a fortnight, a year, a month, a day, an hour?
Now, darling, have you ever had your fortune told?
No.
Not everything is so literal.
But why not?
Have you ever heard a song, been to a play, visited the opera house, or perhaps even read a story?
Yes, no, yes, yes.
Well, there's quite a bit of detail and nuance lost if everything is taken literally.
Like, subtext, subversive thought, all different meanings layered upon a verbiage used in a soliloquy or other media. Yes?
Yes, I suppose, in as many words.
So one would imply, then, that the arcane gifts that you have been bestowed upon are meant to be interpreted as such pieces of literature, perhaps, that one can glean from the words that you say, whatever they may, based on their own views and interpretations of the text.
Well, it's not my fault if somebody gleans something other than what I've told them. But perhaps individuals know themselves better than even I and my skills do. It's not unusual if I were to tell you that perhaps you will face a great battle, that you could interpret that to mean whatever you will. If I were to tell you your life were to be on the very precipice, you may take that as your life itself.
I understand
physically
now.
here, as others may mean it to be their homes, their livelihoods.
So it is a grift.
She leans back, throws back the last of her firebolt, slams the drink down the table. If you're done insinuating, you and your friend, that what I do is a grift, then I'll be happy to move along.
Well, laying the burden of interpretation upon the recipient would imply that one uses generalizing and generic terms to identify the root cause of what could or could not happen in an individual's lifetime, therefore allowing them to extrapolate that, oh, you must have told the fortune because any generalized detail that was given could be applicable in numerous different situations.
The gods be good. I am happy to answer the questions that I can of individuals, but as you can see, not many of them like to hear what I have to say before I can even sit and tell them what it is exactly I've seen. If they so choose to leave with whatever their interpretation may be, then so be it. But do not accuse me of being a liar and a thief because of your lack of understanding.
I apologize for any offense that may have been given. I did not intend such things. And lying or thievery is not what I would place upon the activity itself.
No, but you would call it a grift, which is made up of, if not, what is it? Lying and thievery.
Well, now who is doing the interpreting of one's words and who is not?
Then you explain it to me.
Explained the grift to you? I did a second ago. You give generic and generalized, and I go through the whole explanation of it again.
As you begin to start going through this tangent, she will simply push back and stand.
Oh, do you, before you go, quick, small, cast aside, do you know a Theodore Maximus IV?
And why would it matter to you if I did?
This was the individual seated with me at the table who got up very uncomfortable because he saw you over there and then went upstairs. He is a traveling companion
Gods
of
be
mine.
good. I cannot help it if one of your traveling companions and friends has suddenly had a bit of an issue that he needed to take to the bedroom for himself. Now, I, for one, am
Talk
done
about
being
insinuating.
insulted. And she moves from the table, gathers her small bag of belongings, and bows again deeply to the room. Gentlemen, I'm so sorry to have to inform you, but I will be taking my show on the road for the remainder of the evening. If you feel so inclined as to peruse my services, you're certainly welcome to follow. The two of you, and she looks pointedly at you, Alder and Jameson, are not welcome. And she turns and makes her way out of the cup.
Ozzy will just very slowly lean closer to Jameson and say, "Told you, con artists and charlatans."
I will make my way back over to the table, collect my coin purse, and sit down. Let Rowan hop up in my lap. Yes, I do think the earlier assumption rings true, based on what I was able to gather from the individual. Lots of meaningful, general, fluffy words to make one feel better about themselves.
I mean, I don't put any ill will to what she does with the telling people fortunes, because everybody needs peace somehow. Some people find peace through religious studies and knowing that there's a divine plan. Some people find peace that a fortune teller on the street tells them that there's something coming up that they need to be worried about. And then some people find freedom in the fact that there's no order to the universe at all.
And yet somehow when someone wants to know a little more, they always have some excuse or they get insulted. When you go, "Oh, you said this, well, what does it mean?" And then they try to make the person asking the asshole for asking.
It's alright. I actually didn't mean it to be accusatory. I was just really, I simply wanted to ask a question. I wasn't trying to.
Truth
I'm
is
not
truth.
trying to deem what she was doing as good or bad. That's not my job. I am no arbiter of what is right and wrong. I'm just a frog. I'm just a little guy.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I don't exactly have a distaste for those who thieve and steal. If you're going to be a thief and a con artist, at least be willing to admit that you are.
Did you say anything about Max?
No, and I asked, really, honestly, quite bluntly.
She didn't say anything?
She said something about... I think she insinuated that Max needed to pleasure himself upstairs?
And say verbatim what she said.
Alder says verbatim what she said.
I don't think that's what that meant.
Well, it did feel like all of a sudden she was doing a lot of insinuating about the situation in interpreting, which is what we were supposed to have been doing on her words. It really fell apart there at the end, I must say.
Was she trying to imply that Max was paying for companionship in the nighttime? Is that what she was insinuating?
I was unaware that such... guild halls have really stepped up their game since last I went to a guild hall. Very few and far between supply their own prostitutes.
Incredible. I look at Ozzy and I go, don't tell him.
Didn't plan on it.
I mean, I think if Max wants to share,
then he'll share on his own time. But I think that we should all three of us make a pact right now that we just don't talk about it anymore.
Agreed. What time is it?
At this point, it's rolling on to probably about 10, 11 at night.
I think it's time we retired for the evening.
Good enough for me.
All right. I return to my barrel.
All right. Max. During
Yes.
this time, and as your companions return, is there anything particular that you are doing at this time?
I suppose as the door opens, a icy blast of cold air meets their faces. As inside, I'm over towards the windowsill, just kind of perched on it, holding this almost completely frozen over bottle of vodka to my left shoulder, just staring out the window.
Okay, and remind me, you had 2 separate rooms. Did you guys end up moving into the same room together, or?
Pretty sure.
So the first time we were here, it was 2 separate rooms, but in the second time, we needed another room. Or well, we only have the one, I believe.
Okay.
Now.
As you eventually move the bottle away, you do feel it kind of rip a little bit, kind of sticking, the ice peeling away from your clothing as you pull it from your body. And after some amount of time that passes, you begin to hear the voices of your companions returning to the room.
I will continue to brood at the window.
All right. So as you all enter back into the room, you see a very broody Max staring out the window. And those of you who end up kind of getting at the right angle can see the very much so frozen exterior of that vodka bottle in his hand still.
Oh, doing some late night brewing, are we, Max?
I will just kind of shrug.
Okay.
If it helps at all, I don't think she knew who you were.
I thought we said we weren't going to talk about it.
I was
That was
thinking
5
this
minutes
through.
ago.
Oh, fuck, sorry. Bedtime!
Ozzy's gonna just kind of quietly walk over while Max is still sitting in the window and just kind of give him a light tap and just say, "Boss, you should get some sleep. Don't think about it too hard."
No, I think a bit of truth is in order.
If you want
What I will tell the 3 of you is I do have some history with that woman. On a transcendental level, a spiritual level. When I was out today, I once again heard the name from a few cultists, the name of Hela.
That's the woman's name?
Yes. Or rather, what's inside her is.
Mac,
Not
you sly dog, you.
What do you mean by that?
Hela is a goddess. And I mean that in the most literal sense.
So it was a grift.
Oh,
I
no.
suppose.
That's not good.
So you mean to tell me that... Never mind. I'll keep that one for myself. Hela is... goddess. In... human body.
Mm-hmm. In a human body now. Wasn't that way almost 20 years ago.
And how old is Lola?
About 20 or so.
But to go ahead and clear the air, I have been nothing but loyal and faithful to my wife, who of course is no longer with us. I would not dream of remarrying. All I want to do is make sure Lola's happy.
So you're telling me that Alder and I made a goddess mad at us?
That's not good, is it?
Won't be the first time, won't be the last.
She's a rather unholy goddess, almost infernal. She prefers to make deals rather than, outright malicious intent.
And did you make a deal?
I will once again kind of rub my left shoulder. Not a big one.
Oh boy.
How big of a small one? Is it bad? Yes, stop me.
No.
I will not answer that. And I will not say anything else.
Well, is her presence here going to be a problem for you? Is there anything that we can do? Anything that we should do?
Best to just ignore it.
All right, ignore it. I will.
Well, yep. Sounds like a plan to me.
It does raise a lot of other questions about, well, lots of
Deeply
Right.
personal questions that we probably shouldn't ask right now.
well, also not so personal questions, such as do other deities within pantheons exist with the capabilities to do this, and if so, how often is the likelihood that one could walk past a deity without knowing it? Could bring to light many situations in which such a deed would be quite uncomfortable.
What if God was one of us?
Yes, exactly. But I digress. I believe it is time for sleeping.
Barrel time.
Something like that.
Apologies, the water in that barrel's very chilly.
And Jameson, as you put your foot in, there's almost a very thin layer of ice across the top that your foot breaks as it enters the water, and it is icy.
That's all right. Ice bucket challenge. Remember that?
What year is this?
Where am I?
All right. Gentlemen, as you all head to sleep for the evening, you, for the most part, rest easily. Max, however, you do hear a very familiar, almost laughing that seems to just echo in your mind throughout the evening. And as you awake the next morning, you feel a bit of almost a pain and ache on your left shoulder.
The urge to play the Discord soundboard of the Scooby-Doo laugh was so strong. But I didn't.
Now just say it. I'm mad that you didn't do it.
No, don't do it. You're gonna get me in trouble with the police.
How?
For a
The
Scooby-Doo sound
police.
effect? No, you can play this. You can play the sound effect.
All right.
Do it. It'll be
I'm so
really
tired,
funny.
y'all.
It's worse that it has like a shit ton of reverb on it.
Oh man.
All right. As you all awake the next morning, what do you do?
Well,
Actually, I passed
go about-
away in the cold water because I'm cold-blooded. I died.
he was so young.
Damn, that's crazy. Frog legs?
Since Ozzy doesn't sleep. Ozzy would probably have been just kind of out in the hall, top of the steps, one way in, one way out kind of thing, just waiting, hanging out, Sentinel's rest against the wall, sort of
Being
stuff.
kind of creepy, but it's fine.
Being a guard.
And you notice that, Ozzy, as you're kind of standing watch through the evening, that the first night or two that you did it, you got kind of a weird, uncomfortable reaction to your presence, if you will, the first few nights that you were there. But by now, the folks who have also been staying are seemingly a little bit more comfortable and used to you being around at this point.
Hey, I don't talk, I don't move, I just hang out.
And they
I
seem
don't
to
bother
kind
nobody.
of pay you less mind. There are still glances and kind of almost a little bit of intrigue, but most just seem to kind of nod in your direction and carry on to their rooms.
They do get a little quirky at night.
As morning breaks and you begin to smell food and some coffees kind of drifting from downstairs up to your room, what do you all do as you proceed?
Max will go about his day as normally as possible.
Yeah, I will prep my things, do my morning routine, head downstairs and see what's for breakfast.
Breakfast.
All right. As you all head down, it's essentially, after what seemed to be quite a busy night of some drinking, lots of biscuits and gravy, different greasy sausages, some bacon, and some eggs.
Now I'm hungry.
You're very
Go with
welcome.
as light as breakfast as I can make out of that, which is not very.
Slightly hungover, I'll just get some nibbles.
So, we have some light leads. If we want to go about town today, we could go talk to the butchers and figure out the story with the tainted meat. We could mill about the city aimlessly looking for what's it, Hubert? I think someone said something about needing exterminators for something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's find out. We can choose. Do we want to? Because I feel like we could get information about Hubert as we go around doing one of the other things. So maybe we can go check to do the exterminator one, because I feel as though that one would be pretty. We just go to a place and get rid of the thing. That one's a little bit more straightforward than the butcher, because the butcher one will have to go probably to multiple places. So maybe we just go see while we await. Were we waiting a meeting? Is that what our deal was?
I don't think we.
You have had your meeting with the kind of council of the guards of the city. They had, for the most part, not taken y'all super seriously. Petra, the archmage, who you spoke with, and Alisart, the captain of this portion, at least, of the guard, did kind of speak with you a bit and say that they would reach out if they heard any additional information or had any new findings, given that you guys were given the offer to kind of help in assisting with figuring out what's going on and rectifying it, but nothing was specifically set in stone.
Okay.
All right.
Let's just go maybe investigate the extermination thing, and we can move on from there.
Okay, Max.
I would like to resummon Neela.
Absolutely.
And then I would like to write a letter to Lola. And then I'll just, start. It'll be very short. I'll start with hey, hope things are going well. And then I will the main body will be beware, do not trust a fortune teller. And I'll kind of give a light description.
Okay.
And then I'll send it on.
All right. Easily enough done and sent. All right. I don't know who had their finger up first between Ozzy and Alder, so I'll either honor system or you guys pick who goes.
Austin's finger was up first, but mine is very quick. Did we get paid?
That's what I was going to ask.
Because
They said they were going to pay us.
If we've had our meeting already, I only have 25 gold pieces, and we were going to get paid for this.
They
Where's my
have
fucking
not
money?
Paid you yet?
Bruh.
Ozzy wants to get paid.
How about we go back to
Ozzy's got the money.
Miss Alisard and ask about our compensation? Then we go about finding exterminator.
Okay.
We
I'm
have
not
a
sure
plan.
how much she wants to see us, but sure, why not?
I don't think anyone in this city wants to see us.
Alright.
I want to see all of you.
So the plan is to head out after Max finishes sending Neela off with the letter to Lola. You will head to find Captain Alisard to see about getting your payment, and then your plan is to head to see about what the exterminators situation sort of is. Is that correct?
That's it.
Yep.
All right. As you all finish readying yourselves for the day and proceed through the doors of the cup on the way to the guard posting where you've most frequently found Captain Alisard, we will go ahead and go on break for a little bit. Everybody, we're going to take about a 10-minute break just to stretch, get snacks, water, bathroom, any of that. We will be back here in about that 10 minutes, and we will see you on the other side of it. Be right back. Alright, welcome back everybody. Alright, gentlemen, as you begin kind of making your way through a bit of the town, kind of navigating what has now become a bit of a familiar path, you do manage to find your way all the way back over into the guard tower where you have previously met and seen Captain Alisard several times. There is a bit of a larger guard presence, though nothing terribly concerning, an additional guard or two positioned here today. But as you look about, you are able to notice, you don't immediately see Captain Alisard.
Is today her day off?
Whose day off?
Captain Alizar.
Captain Alisard's gone. She's got a meeting today. Think she's meeting the Archmage today, or might be the other guards. Should I take a message for her?
Yes, we very recently did a job for her in the city, and we have not received our payment.
Come with me. You see this individual kind of step aside and lead you into the tower that you've only come into now a few times, as he pauses outside of one door and gestures to kind of these tables in like almost the barracksy kind of area. Take a seat a moment, I'll be right with you. As he unlocks this door, steps in, closes it behind him, and the little bit of a peek you get as he opens and shuts this door, it seems to be some sort of office that he is stepping into.
How big are the chairs?
They're assorted sizes. There are chairs that look like they're made for, probably some small folk. And then there are some that are made to accommodate bigger bodies and frames like yourself or Ozzy.
I want to sit in one of the bigger chairs and kick my legs whimsically.
I don't know where we're supposed to put it, but I will take the chair because that's what he told me to do.
Terrible.
I think Ozzy's just gonna stand because he's afraid that well, I wouldn't say afraid, it's probably not the right word. But he believes his quarter-ton ass is gonna break one of them fucking chairs.
Fair.
Alright.
What am I supposed to do with this now?
Disrespect your surroundings.
Hey, I get that reference.
Do you start smashing a chair?
No.
Okay, okay. I was gonna be like,
I love that song.
A few minutes pass, and then you do see the door reopen. The individual comes back out, kind of stands in the threshold and looks. And what were your names?
Oh, that reminds me. I meant to make an introduction song, because I feel like people are going to be asking that question a lot, so I should prepare some kind of song. For now, we'll just have to do the regular introduction. My name is Jameson Gray.
Alder Fenhorn.
Ozymandias.
Max.
You see him kind of pause, flipping through.
It could be under the Gentleman's Club?
That's a Mr. Cray, a Mr. Finhorn, a Mr. Maximus, and a Mr. Ozymandias. Yes?
Yes.
She's got a note here saying that you are owed a payment. We think that she'll be back probably in the next hour or so. If you don't mind waiting, I'd happy to have you sit in her office for her.
That's fine.
Alright. Very well. You see him snap this leather-bound book kind of closed. After I get you situated, I'll head back out, and I'll let her know when she arrives that you're awaiting her. But come on. And he just walks back out into the office space. As you all follow him and enter, you see a very kind of almost bare bones office space. You do see a few kind of different stools of assorted heights that seem to almost be set at such different heights that they can kind of stack into a corner to save some of the space. You see a large wooden desk kind of here in the center of the room. And otherwise you see a few different bookshelves. Might be a bit of a broad term. When you ever see people have taken like cinder blocks and stacked them and they happen to have like planks in the gaps between them, we're talking
College apartments, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking very that kind of vibe shelves off to one side where you see a couple of different books, but several what look to be scrolls or rolled up pieces of parchment, all kind of roughly organized, we'll call it. This is the captain's office. Don't touch anything. She's got a bit of a temper if it comes to it, but otherwise, make yourselves as comfortable as you can, and she'll be back hopefully soon.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
He nods. You see him place this leather-bound tome kind of back up onto one of the shelves as he walks out of the room, and you hear him close the door as he goes to leave.
I will put down the chair that I brought with me into the office. Anyone know any good jokes? I don't know. We have to pass time now.
Is there anything that you would like to do during the little bit of time that you are waiting for Alisard?
What can I glean about her as a person?
Yeah, she got any knickknacks?
Office. Like, I don't want to go through her stuff because I feel like she's going to expect us to have gone through her stuff, and I want to surprise her by not doing that. I just want to see like anybody that has an office, especially like when it comes to like, I feel like these kind of jobs, they have some kind of personality piece where it's like, this is something that for anybody else would be junk, but for them it's like, this was the number one thing I needed in my office. Like, what's in there that has sentimental value, and what can we like glean about her from them?
As you kind of look about, this office is really pretty bare bones. You do notice there seems to be maybe a few more scrolls of some type kind of lying about. You do see a few different, areas where it looks like she probably hangs her weaponry or, sets her armor down occasionally on a dummy kind of standing in the back of the room. But as you kind of just stand at some point, kind of stretching, pacing even maybe as you pass some of the time in the room, you do see kind of tucked neatly back on the wall, but kind of hidden a little bit back on the bookshelf, does seem to be a sort of charcoal sketch of what looks to be a younger Captain Alisard and a few different individuals kind of seated around a campfire. It seems that this is almost the one free area that exists on this bookshelf. And it's not necessarily hidden, but it's not super easy to see from the door just due to the number of scrolls that are placed and kind of compacted in to the one side of this one specific shelf.
Well, she seems like a very practical, no-nonsense person, but we probably already knew that from our interactions with her. But someone's office tells you a lot about them.
I'm very distracted by the poor construction of this bookshelf.
Yeah, Alder looking at it, it's like if one good knock happened to it, the whole thing is probably coming down.
Is it literally made of like bricks and planks?
Pretty much. And some of them, it might not be like, oh, we had extra bricks, but it might be like, we had some bricks that broke, and they've kind of been repurposed to just sit where they should to make the full brick kind of in this stack, and it's a little precarious in places.
This will not do. I poke my head back out the door.
There is one guy who you see is just kind of sitting there in kind of plain clothes, very tired, sort of eating almost like a gruel.
Cool. How many other chairs are out there?
There's probably about a dozen.
I'm gonna grab 2 more.
Okay. So you go out, are you specifically selecting any chair in particular?
A bigger chair.
Okay. So you grab one of the 2 remaining larger chairs.
I bring it back into the room. I wave at the guy, and then I close the door.
He just kind of... And just no real recognition as he just goes back to eating his gruel.
And Alder is just gonna have a real, how do I put this politely? He's gonna hyperfixate. That's the word I'll use. He's gonna have a moment. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna take apart these chairs. So I'm gonna, like, at the bottom of them, I'm gonna take the legs off and the cross beams, take all those out, and I'm gonna start laying out the different lengths of pieces of the chair that are of similar height. Once I've completely disassembled the 3 chairs that I brought into the room, I will measure them out to make sure the pieces that I have gathered that are the same height are actually the same height. If not, I will cut them to be so. To the point where I have several lengths of wood of various heights. The actual seat parts of the chairs, or like the curved bits or anything else like that, I don't know. I'll set those to the side for the moment. But once I've gotten out of an array of just wooden dowels, essentially, that are the proper diameter, I will walk back over to the bookshelf, and I will keep going if you really want me to.
You don't have to.
I know,
you know exactly
how I would put this together. But y'all probably don't give a shit.
So, Alder, you proceed to essentially craft a new bookcase at this point. It's going to be so different from what is already there. Roll me a teacher check.
Pick up this a bundle of scrolls and like hand them to Ozzy. He's like, hold these, and I'll go back to what I was doing.
Sure.
Ozzy, as you're kind of sitting here looking at this copious amount of fairly disorganized pile of scrolls that you've been handed, you do notice that some of them seem to be assorted like posters or flyers, while some are maps. Some seem to be letters, missives, with different insignia, that sort of a thing.
Ozzy's gonna snoop.
Okay.
Ooh.
What are you doing with all the ones that you're not snooping?
I'm just gonna find a nice spot on the floor, and I'm just gonna set it all down, and I'm just pick one up that looks interesting and snoop a little while Alder is preoccupied.
All right, roll me a D100.
Oh Jesus. Oh boy. Where in the did I put those? There's one. That'll do. 12.
Okay. With a 12, the first one you've picked up is a very interestingly kind of handwritten letter. You can tell that it was, just from the looks of it, the person is not super comfortable writing, but did almost like painstakingly craft each letter. And as you read through it rather quickly, given its short length, it seems to be a plea to the captain of the guard, a Miss Lady Captain Alisard, for assistance in settling a dispute between two neighbors here in town. As you read a little bit further, it seems the dispute is about whether or not on windy days someone can hang their clothes on the drying rack outside their house, or if the water crossing over the fence line does in fact cause an issue.
Ozzy's gonna get like halfway through, or like he's gonna get to the point where he realizes what this is actually about, and he's gonna be like, and he's just gonna close it and put it back.
All right. Do you go back
Like,
for
oh,
another?
that's boring. I'll grab a poster.
Okay. As you unravel this poster, you see another poster for Bone Crusher. Again, at the top, wanted Bone Crusher, with a depiction that's roughly kind of the correct appearance. Same reward offer and such at the bottom.
Ozzy is resisting is resisting the knee-jerk reaction to like clench and just calmly closes it, puts it back, and will now stop stooping.
Okay.
He's a little angry.
He had seen too much.
Because now he's a little angry, and he's becoming a little self-aware.
All right. Jameson, Max, is there anything you're doing, or are you sitting and waiting patiently aside from looking for a little bit of character about the office?
I kind of cross my legs and I sit on the floor and I'm just waiting like a good little boy.
All right. And Max?
I'll be seated in a chair, waiting patiently, just zoning out.
All right. And about an hour and 15
I got a
minutes.
22.
22 on your tinker? I figured as much.
And carpentry tools.
Oh, apology. On your carpentry tools, check. And you have pretty effectively, in the span of an hour, built a much better ramshackle bookcase that almost looks as though these pieces were originally for a bookshelf. Somehow. You've even managed to take the kind of slightly curved back of one of them and made almost a spot where all of these scrolls could get placed back in, like almost a little nook even towards the top. And cool. As you kind of start finishing, putting the final details, sanding one or two more spots here or there, you do hear the door open behind you, and there's just a pause as you see Captain Alisar kind of tilt her head to one side, taking in Ozzy and Jameson kind of both on the floor, a little bit as spread out as you can be in the office, though Ozzy sitting amidst a wide array of scrolls kind of around him, Max kind of sitting in a chair off to the side, Jameson sitting there off to the side, and Alder sanding a bookcase that was not previously in her office, kind of pauses and well, gentlemen, I do apologize for any wait, though I see that we seem to have made ourselves at home. I appreciate the craftsmanship, though I hesitate to ask any further questions about it. I suppose...
It's a bookshelf.
And I appreciate that greatly. Thank you, Alder. Ozzy, if you wouldn't mind helping me scoop those all back up to get them replaced.
Sure.
And you watch as the one or two that you kind of drop or that don't quite get scooped up in your arms, you see her reach down again with her left arm and pick those up before coming over and placing them. Well, gentlemen, I do believe, is there any matter of business other than your payment that you've come for, or...
How are you?
Mostly money.
Which is fair. Well, all things considered, had an impromptu meeting, and I do apologize for the delay in your payment. Apologies. How much again did we contract to each of you? And you see as she starts reaching for her leather tome up off to the side. Starts
$1
flipping
million.
1
Players.
million gold. We don't fucking know. Don't even play coy. We
One
don't know.
point of inspiration if anyone can correctly name the amount that you are to be paid.
69.
It's
500
150.
each.
150. Final answer.
350 apiece.
Damn it.
I was close.
As she kind of
I'm
goes,
supposed to be the money
sits, and rummages through, you see her reach down to a large satchel kind of at her side, and she will count out 350 gold pieces slowly for each of you before gesturing Jameson and gesturing to the money. And slowly again, kind of making a bit of, at best, small talk with you, unless it seems that you have much more that you wish to discuss with her. She seems to be kind of a bit of a woman of a few words here, kind of lost in her thoughts at present.
Perfect. Ozzy's just like, great, awesome. Not talking to me, and you're paying me.
Have you all run into any issues about town? Anything of that nature?
Well, no. I think about that the thing from yesterday that Max told us, and I'm like, nah, nothing to report.
We did hear about a missing individual by the name of Hubert.
Just a few other problems around town as well.
Hubert, doesn't ring a bell. Perhaps I've just not read a missive yet about it. Apologies, it's been a hectic day or two. We've had no end of excitement, I suppose, on our end of things.
And what would be that is so exciting?
Well, I suppose... No. It's not that I don't think you're trustworthy, per se, so much as I don't know that it would do anything to speak on it. And she gestures finally to the final counted sum of money, Max, and she kind of helps slide it towards you across her desk.
I'll
If
start
it is
putting it
safe.
away. I mean, is there anything we can help with?
If it's just a pair of ears to listen to your woes.
Max, roll me persuasion with advantage.
Will do. Also, ear gang, rise up.
Woo, ears.
With a nat 19, that's gonna be 22.
You
Okay.
don't have ears.
Get me, kid.
With a 22, you see her kind of tense a little bit, kind of looking about the room. Ozymandias, the door, if you will. And she kind of gestures, and you see that there is
Just-
a lock on the door.
He'll just... And then lean, like, step back against it. Not like full lean, but he's heavy, so...
What we discuss cannot leave amidst us. And if it ever comes to my attention that it has been spoken about, I hope you know I will ardently deny it.
Understandable.
She goes from where she's kind of been sitting, very tense in her chair, to leaning forward, and for the first time you see her very slowly kind of move her right arm that she usually kind of keeps tucked inside of some of her clothing, kind of up to just bring her hands together up on her desk. And you almost see, well, actually roll me a perception, everybody. Ozzy, you may make it at advantage.
Oh, cool. Dirty 20.
I got a
Or-
22.
22. You
14.
said 14, okay.
9.
Okay. Ozzy and Max. The two of you watch as the movement of her right arm doesn't necessarily seem unusual, but rather very kind of measured and almost like she's intentionally moving very slowly, very carefully as she does so. I have concerns about these local heroes. Had some concerns for a time, and the last individual that I had spoken with to investigate, I have recently come to learn, is no longer with us, we'll say. And it could be sheer coincidence, but I think there might be something more afoot.
You speak of the four swords, correct?
Four
Yes.
blades.
The four
Four
blades.
blades. Thank you.
I call it a gut feeling. Too many years in the field, whatever you will. But something just does not sit right with me about the four blades. And
Perhaps they
as
have
soon
something
as... Oh,
to
sorry.
do with the nefarious deeds of what is going on?
I hope you'll not think me too harsh in saying it's been a bit quiet the past day or so, has it not? For something that
Yes.
seemed to have become such a large issue and quieted so suddenly.
It has been pretty quiet.
It's unsettling.
I will admit it's quite peaceful given the mass amounts of refugees that have been displaced by a plague tearing across the countryside.
The meeting today was brought to my attention that as we had sent the four of you out to try to do some solving of this horde, solving of some other issues at hand, that apparently, unbeknownst to myself and some of my co-workers, that the Four Blades were in fact contracted to assist in solving this problem, and as suddenly as they've become involved, there seems to be an absence of the issue. The involvement came at no small requirement of payment as well from the city, which then, as I do apologize sincerely, led to a bit of a dispute in payment for yourselves that finally was resolved at today's meeting. To me, call it just a gut feeling, instinct, or a bit of unease, even. It just does not sit right with me. Don't get me wrong, I'm not discounting the skills of the Four Blades. We've seen time and time again how they've managed to pull through in even the most dire of circumstances to assist the city and its people.
It just seems that they did it too fast.
Too fast, and it does not sit well with me that it was not brought to the council after we had last discussed it to say even that they had been contracted as well.
Who contracted them?
She leans back. You were at the last meeting?
Well, that one guy, that asshole, he's in charge of the mercenaries.
Oh, I can't disagree with your assessment of him, as much as it might pain me. But yes, the captain of the mercenaries for the city guard said that he reached out to them after the conclusion of our last meeting. And again, it could be nothing. It could be simply my unease over the situation, my concern for our people. But
Are these four blades locals to the city of Curlia, or is it somewhere they have a particular haunt that they reside in and around while they are in town?
unfortunately, I'm not as familiar with what they do outside of their work. I've
What about mercenaries in general? Is there somewhere they like to hang out in the city?
professionally, not that I'm aware of. Personally, there's a bit of a rough and tumble bar. Rumor may have it, and she kind of pops a smile on one side, almost a smirk, that they used to have fist-to-fist duels. Bit after hours event, after a bit of drinking had been done, some bets potentially placed, and assuming, of course, that they're still in business today, in spite of the numerous attempts to shut them down, I would assume that that is still where mercenaries prefer to go.
Perhaps we will swing by and ask some questions.
Given my professional background, would I be at least familiar with this place?
Same question.
Max, you'd heard like a few rumors, though they always seemed a bit outlandish about it. You've never, there's been several taverns and things that would kind of come and go. As far as orders inside the city, sometimes it would be the same place under a changed name, things of that nature, but nothing in particular stands out to you in this moment. Ozzy, given your background, roll me a D20, just a straight D20.
4.
Okay. We are going to say you know that this place still exists somewhere within Curlia. You don't recall the name, but you know for a fact you had heard talk of it. And some individuals from your past used to brag and talk about it quite frequently.
Should talk about Fight Club.
That's the first rule, man.
Okay.
So, you know that it is here in Curlia. You know it does still exist. But you're unsure of the name or exact location, Ozzy.
Is there any information about the place you can give? I can tell you, I'm certain that it is still around. I just cannot recall a name or where it would be in the city. Don't believe I've been myself, but I have worked with those who have before.
They used to have kind of a penchant for things that seemed a bit on the nose, perhaps at times. Back when I last heard about it, and you see her kind of seeming to choose her words carefully, it used to be called Blood in the Water. But then they changed it to Beer in the Water when some locals took issue with the name, and I haven't seen it around since then. But inevitably, I wouldn't be surprised if they moved location due to some issues with their neighbors, and saw about changing their name again. The owners used to be a bit peculiar, seemed to really like names kind of the same ilk, though. But my best bet is that if they're still active and here in Kirlia, that it'll be a bit of a front to try to find the fighting pits. And the most rough and tumble of the mercenaries, and I would assume, therefore, the Four Blades themselves tend to frequent that portion. Don't expect to find them as you walk into a bar. No, jokes of Four Blades walk into a bar aside and such.
A good one.
She kind
All of this being
chuckles
said,
at you, Alder. Yeah, I've been, what's the word? Baking it for a minute. Is that not...
I look around for an oven.
I wonder if there's... So there's 4 blades, right? There... Never mind. I'm just thinking about something that Fortune Teller said.
I was
Or
thinking
dragons.
the same thing.
Fortune teller?
Are the blades dragonborn?
I don't believe they are.
So much for that.
Draconic ancestry.
Pretty sure that woman... That woman was all about... metaphor. It's usually how fortune tellers work.
Yes. Generalizations. Dragons may not actually be dragons, and trying to destroy the city may not be actually trying to destroy the city.
Does Kirlia have a history with dragons?
Forgive me, I was never one that was great in history classes. Could write perhaps to Petra or visit the college, the library, see if you could find something specific, but not that I can distinctly recall.
Bruh.
Thanks for the gold. I think at least my business is done.
Yep.
All of these questions and information exchanged, I am inclined to ask if you are asking for or would like an extra set of eyes and ears to investigate. If not, of course, that's a group decision.
I certainly would not say no. The 4 of you have proven yourselves quite formidable, but then again, these are the 4 blades we're talking about. And no offense, gentlemen, but I have concerns that you may be outclassed.
Pish posh.
I've never been to class a day in my life.
I don't mean to be...
I've been to many of them.
Don't mean
so
to
it
be
evens out.
rude, but I can't exactly say that I've ever walked into an office and thought that I'd see
A fantastical handcrafted bookshelf made in less than an hour?
in my own office, Alder, exactly, precisely what I was thinking. I would urge you, if you choose to do some investigating, digging of your own. Know that I don't have much, if anything, to go on other than my gut feeling. Know that I have little money of my own I can put into the endeavor to repay you for any work, whether it is nothing more than a gut feeling or more. But I will assist however I can.
I don't think it would be a bad idea to check up on this. Especially if... I feel like the likelihood that as soon as the four blades were hired to take care of the problem just went away immediately. I don't think that's how this works. There's something fishy about that.
And that puts the two of us on the same page. It's a bit disconcerting, and I feel like a bit of the amount of almost being at ease that my coworkers seem to have in the face of what I'm sure is not a solved problem.
Well, it's probably easier to just assume the problem is done than to keep worrying about it. And I'm sure not all of the people on the council are, no offense, have the most altruistic motivations in mind for their positions of power.
No offense taken. My biggest concern personally is if we're not prepared, if this problem truly is not resolved, the people will be the ones to suffer, and we will not be prepared to protect them or to get them out.
Well, we may not be as formidable as the Four Blades, but we can certainly see if they're up to something not good. We could do so without fighting if we need to. No one said we were going to go in there and bust them up, even though Ozzy could definitely bust them up.
I like your vote of confidence. Though I would warn to always have a healthy skepticism. Better to be a bit realistic than to have a sense of bravado when it comes to matters of life and death.
Well, if it's unrealistic to believe in my friends, then consider me unrealistic.
I appreciate the optimism. But I do apologize, gentlemen. You simply came for your payment, and instead I have given you my worries.
Well, to be honest, we were also a little worried. Because it seems most things that are too good to be true are too good to be true. I think we've all traveled enough to know that the things that we've seen over the past couple days is not something that could be resolved in one night. And we knew that when we offered to go and look for more of the creatures that attacked, but something doesn't quite sit right with me either. It seems, no matter how great the hero, there's certain things that just... There's probably more here than meets the eye. Like when we were attacked the other evening, right before we met, somebody escaped into the city, which we believe was directly responsible for the patient that we brought into town expiring. There's something going on, and something that's orchestrated. Seems too methodical. I'm not one for patterns and such, but it seems too, I don't know, organized.
And that's what I've thought. Alas, gentlemen, I unfortunately must return to my duties for the day. But, again, we never spoke on this matter. It would be safer for all of us that way.
Well, I hope we never speak on the subject again soon after we've not found out more things about it. And
She chuckles lightly, and if you need to reach me, and she will reach down and pull out, and you hear the very loud, like almost grating sound of like a drawer that gets stuck a little too often wood on wood, and kind of like how it kind of just has that awful sound as she pulls open a drawer that seems a little stuck, reaches in and grabs out 10 pieces of parchment before setting them down on the desk before you. Now, they're not foolproof. They can be intercepted. but a few paper birds might help us keep in touch without having to wait.
Thank you.
She nods, slides them across the desk as she rises. You see her reach back and start kind of grabbing some of the gear that she had taken off when she first came into the office and kind of seated herself at her desk. Well, gentlemen, I'll be happy to see you out now. Paid, money in hand.
As we leave, I'm going to reach into a pocket and pull out a little stub of wax and just kind of hand it to her and say, just rub some of that on the bearing edges of those drawers and they should slide in and out a bit easier. Okay.
She kind of looks at bearing edges and kind of, thank you, Alder. And you see her kind of reach over and put it on her desk as she then gestures back for you to go ahead of her out of the room. All right. She quickly kind of, not rudely, but as in, I do have places to be kind of energy.
Get the fuck out.
Ushers you back out onto the busy streets here as it gets to roughly like noon.
Oh, wow. Okay, we've got an exterminator thing to go talk to now, right? Or are we gonna go straight for the other thing?
I mean, I feel like a bar would be more poppin' in the evening.
Mm-hmm. Well, we might as well get some more money and do the exterminator job. We can ask around that way.
And
then
for butchers.
And here listened for any musings about a secret bar that we don't know where it is.
Or a Hubert.
Maybe Hubert has been butchered and rats have come to eat him that we need to exterminate. All three things are related.
That's morbid. But does bring us back to our question of soaking things in seawater and turning them into the flavored fish.
As you all begin to navigate about the town, Romy, we'll say Ozzy and Max, as the two who had been to Kirlia previously, a survival check each to see how quickly and easily in the chaos of the city, but also the overstuffed refugee sections, to find this place that said it needed an exterminator.
Okay. I got a nat 20 for a 23.
Oh, thank God.
Would you
Got
get...
a 5.
It was really close, though.
That was so close.
Ozzy, you constantly are kind of bumping into people and having to, like, pause, finding areas where you guys are traveling through that it's just so dense that you have to kind of stop a moment to find a way to letting people kind of part almost to let you through in some instances. As Max, you kind of easily
them a death glare,
wheeze.
make them get out of my way.
Right? You kind of easily pass and weave your way in between the crowd, leading in the correct direction. To one of the kind of poorer areas of the town where you have buildings much closer upon each other that are in not as great condition. They're not exactly falling apart, but they definitely have seen better days. As you travel, you do eventually start to come up on one house that seems to stand alone. There's a bit of a berth around it, a few different alleyways, but it is a slightly larger house, though certainly worse for the wear as you all approach, and it does seem to be the correct address as you begin to approach it across the street of the house listed for the exterminator.
Allow me. Ozzy, come with me for a second.
Sure.
I just hold back for 1 second, and I'll get you all in a minute. I walk up to the door, and I knock it.
All right. As you knock, you hear, "1 moment, please!" And then you hear another crashing sound, kind of in the house at a distance. The hurried sound of footsteps, and the door finally yanks open. And you see a man, a bit of hair that's longer having been kind of pulled back to a small ponytail at the nape of his neck, some of the hair kind of falling loose, falling forward. A sweat sheen across his face, kind of leaning, looking at you, and as you look down, he's got, like, a little bit of a dull kitchen knife kind of in hand. Looks at you. Exterminators?
Hello, yes, my name is Commodore Frog, and this is my partner, Titanium Johnson, and we're here to exterminate any problems you may have.
Wonderful. We could definitely use the help. Please tell me there's more than the two of you.
Yes, those are our unnamed associates in the back. I didn't want to come up with more names.
It's okay. He brought his titanium.
Johnson.
Hey, it's his name. I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ. Oh.
As you stand, hurry, come along. He starts to open the door, and at that point, you hear what sounds almost like a small explosion from somewhere deeper in the house and a shrill scream. And that is where we will end tonight's session.
Yeah.
All right,
Time
gentlemen.
to throw down.
Welcome back.
That was my psych bit for the day.
Titanium Johnson.
Oh, Titanium Johnson hits different. What is that? What is that?
Well, that's...
My backup. I had another one. My backup one was Aluminum Jones.
Aluminium Jones.
No, actually, you know what? Titanium Johnson. Perfectly
A
fine.
plus
This
name.
is my partner, Tungsten Tony.
All right.
Commodore
held a
Frog and
tungsten
Tungsten
cube before?
Tony's extermination service.
Have you ever held a 5-pound tungsten cube before? I've held a 5-pound tungsten cube before.
heavy.
It's a lot smaller than it looks like it should be.
Oh, but it's heavy
dense.
as sin.
It's so dense.
Yeah. All right. That does bring us to the end of tonight's session, the end of tonight's stream. If you guys are interested, we have previously talked about Advanced GG, things like that, and we also have merch that we forgot to mention earlier for our lovely Gentlemen's Club and their D&D sessions. If you guys feel so inclined towards that, there is the Jameson, kind of hard to see because of the blur, but it's on. There it goes. All right, the Jameson coaster. We do have coasters for each of our lovely guys. Back behind Bradley, that he's kind of trying to show is the
Mouse
like
pad.
desk mat. Yeah, desk mat, mouse pad that has the gentleman on it, things of that nature.
we're gonna yeah, don't worry. The shirt for Commodore Frog and Titanium Johnson Extermination Services is in the
On
works.
the way.
Right now. I'm making it.
Oh God.
I would actually wear that shirt. I'm not
Your
gonna
bugs
lie.
will feel the fury of the Johnson.
And unnamed associates.
Oh God. Oh please.
So we
can
will see
actually
about
make
making that
shirt?
happen for y'all. We'll see what we
I'm
can
working
come
on it
up
right
with.
now.
But I will keep y'all updated as soon as we've got any details, things like that, and all of that jazz. Additionally, we do have, if you saw in the back, we have some lovely benefactor who gave us some flower Legos that we'll do a stream on. And I will have details coming for a couple of other streams that we're doing just to kind of like spice things up, some things that we've talked about doing for a while and are behind on. All of that being said, smile, smile, smile. There's another streamer with us here, Orfeo.
Oh wait, it's me. Hey.
Yeah.
It's me. What's up? Hi.
Hi, do you want to plug your stream? And by that I mean please plug your stream.
Follow me. Please. I am 6 followers away from a hundo.
There we go. 6
that's
followers
pretty
away from a hundo. So
I'll
if you have not
probably-
followed,
I'll probably stream something this week.
hell yeah, brother.
Do it.
So you guys, please, please, please consider going and following Orfeo, being there. Say hey, say the gentleman sent you. Otherwise, I will make sure that I see you guys soon for any updates, for any questions, anything else. Make sure that you guys are in the Discord. Gentlemen, if you will help a gal out and vamp and talk to chat for a minute while I figure out who we're going to raid tonight.
All right, guys. If you enjoyed the session, please subscribe. Please drop a follow if you haven't already. We'll be here in 2 weeks. We'll be back. And also, something really important is on Sunday, I think, is when the ladies are streaming. Show up. Support the ladies. We'll be there.
Sunday.
Show them lots of love in chat. Tell them how good of a job they're doing. They're awesome.
They're new players. They're still learning. Having a lot of extra encouragement for them is going to be so great. They are scheduled for this Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then we will have their beautiful faces back on screen with us. And then, yeah, we support women's rights and their wrongs. That's right. Let's go.
Yeah.
Remember, Pride Month is over. Gay Wrath Month has begun.
Hey. And then additionally, the guys, as our lovely Orfeo here said, we do have, let's give me what I want. It helps if I spell it right, Smile. It's okay, I'm trying to type Dungeons and Dragons and they're just not pulling
Dun-duns
it up,
and
Smile.
Dardons.
Durngans and Darndins. Alrighty, so here is what is going to happen. The guys will be back to see you guys in 2 weeks. That is on the 17th. I will make sure again that we have an event set up in their $19 Fortnite card. Who wants it? Bet Carla wants it. What you gonna do? All right, we are going to raid over to. I saw their name and I saw their logo and I love it. And additionally, for our lovely gentleman here with us, they are doing Ravenloft. It looks like. So we are going to raid over to Dum Dum Dice.
Nice.
Which sounds like an amazing freaking name. So you guys, if you are comfortable coming with us, please consider coming over, showing some love, showing some support. This is where we're going, is to Dum Dum Dice. The raid is up, and I hope so badly that you guys will come with us, spread and share some love and positivity. Say hello, cheer them on a little bit, and if you like what you're seeing, considering giving a follow, subscribing, things like that to support them and what they are doing. They are pretty early on in this, and it does look like they actually have a few different campaigns if this one doesn't seem quite up your alley, including it looks like a Star Wars campaign. Kind of RPG. They have Vampire the Masquerade, Warhammer, Cthulhu. So they've got a couple of different campaigns going, so please consider checking them out, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Did you say Warhammer?
I did say Warhammer. Bye.